Hello and welcome back to PLTW Extra, where we will be reviewing your Turkey 2020 Grand Prix. Now, our first topic will be the qualifying, where Lance Stroll of Racing Point picked up a surprise pole position, but he did thoroughly deserve it. He blew away Max Verstappen and his teammate Sergio Perez, who starts on a grid high. Then Alex Albon in fourth. He'll be pretty happy where he qualified because he has a slipstream from Max Verstappen going into the first chicane of turn. And then Daniel Ricciardo in fifth. Lewis Hamilton was surprised in sixth, and same with his teammate Valtteri Bottas in ninth. Esteban Ocon, Kimi Raikkonen, and Antonio Giovinazzi make up the rest of the top 10. Lando Norris, Sebastian Vettel, Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc, Pierre Gasly make up the ones that went out in Q2, with people that went out in Q1 were Magnussen, Kvyat, Russell, Grosjean, and Latifi. Not much more to say on that. However, it was in the wet, so the times were significantly worse than they should have been. And speaking about wet, we had a wet race. Big talking points now. Lewis Hamilton won his 7th world title, and he thoroughly deserved it. He won the race in proper style, and there was nothing to say against him. After qualifying in 6th, he was up to 3rd by the first turn. Then a few showing mistakes put him back down to 6th, but then tyre management and overtaking skills and truly being the best driver in the F1 grid brought him back up to first place. And it was a really magnificent race, and he thoroughly deserves the win and the World Championship this year. And as we touched on in qualifying, wet race magic. This was a brilliant race. Loads of spinning, but then the people that actually did well in this race were the experienced drivers who know what these conditions are like to race in, and that's what really put them out, especially like Perez and Vettel. That's why they got the podium, because they're experienced drivers who know how to drive in the wet. And moving on to our next topic, Perez gets a 2nd place finish, and surely he needs to drive next season. People are saying he should go to Red Bull, and I agree with them. Alex Albon, again, not doing very good, coming in 7th. It's time to give Perez a go in the top team. And I think with the arrival of Perez in Red Bull, that could make Max Verstappen be more hungry. Not that he's already not hungry, but make him have that extra edge to get ahead of his teammate, which may boost his performances, which puts the likes of Hamilton, Bottas really on the edge. So I think that would be an interesting move for the whole F1 championship. A welcome return to form from Seb Vettel, who's taking Perez's seat at Aston Martin. And as I've touched on before, really experienced caliber and great drivers really put themselves apart here, and that's what Seb Vettel did. Started qualifying 12th on the grid, as we can see in the previous one, with only a time in Q2 of 1 minute 55 there. He really did outline himself from everyone else in the race. Now moving on to Valtteri Bottas's nightmare weekend in general. Bad qualifying result from him, and then not an up to par race. I mean, this wasn't helped by the fact that he was forced to spin around in the first chicane after Daniel Ricciardo made contact with Esteban Ocon. But, he just never seemed to recover, never seemed to do overtaking. And just one of those days for him. And then just before last point, before I reveal my driver of the day, Lance Stroll. What happened to him? The pole sitter, blowing away Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. He unfortunately finished in 9th position. He was driving the race very calmly until a series of bad pit stops put him from 1st to 9th. He couldn't get the temperature up on his new intermediate tyres, and that just bogged him down. So, you can't really argue about that. But then, my driver of the day. My driver of the day has to be Sebastian Vettel. Although Lewis Hamilton won the race and he won his world title, I do think that Seb Vettel from qualifying 9th to 3rd. That really was a very, very good race. And now I think that wraps up PLTW's analysis of the F1 Turkey Grand Prix. From me, it's goodbye.